Kaspa mining is crazy. It's producing basically $1 million of passive income for cryptocurrency miners per day. Okay, now there's another one, the Windminer, the K9. We didn't really even think or weren't quite sure if this thing was real. Oh, but it is. And it's making me think, do I want to throw this in the Kaspa mining corner at the VoskCoin mining farm? Yo, what's up? My name is Vos. We're going to be running through the Windminer K9 and some other recent news on Kaspa and more importantly, Kaspa mining. If you're unfamiliar, this is one of the most lucrative ways to earn money right now, specifically passive income with cryptocurrency mining, but it's not exactly a cheap game to get into. A $1 billion market cap for Kaspa on the K-heavy hash mining algorithm produced over $700,000 in the last 24 hours of newly mined coins. The Windminer K9, Kaspa, 10.5 terahash a second. Coin Mining Central has listed this. I'm going to talk about a couple resellers. We've got links and stuff. But I bring up Coin Mining Central in particular because they have been pretty cautious about listing miners. So the fact that they have listed this, they've done their research, they believe it to be real and that they can effectively deliver it. Viper A-Tech, okay, has been doing a lot of Kaspa mining themselves. They have been selling Kaspa miners. They've also listed the Windminer. What's really weird though about their listing, right, is, and I've never ordered from them or dealt with them, by the way, for whatever that's worth, is they listed it at 11 terahash a second at 3,300 watts, whereas Coin Mining Central has it as 10,500 gigahash or 10.5 terahash a second for a power consumption of 3,400 watts. So let's kind of slow it down here for a second, right? Kaspa and the KS cryptocurrency coin here is the top 50 cryptocurrency. It hit its all-time only 1 month ago. It's up a whopping basically 30,000% in the last year. It's made a lot of people a lot of money. Or excuse me, that's from the all-time low over a year ago. In the last year, it's at about 2,500% up, but yeah, it's, you know, wild gains, to put it simply. The Kaspa mission, a lot of people don't really understand this or take time to learn, whatever. It's reduced monthly. This has a massive impact on expected mining gains. Every month, the coins earned goes down. And so in November, it's reduced to 155 coins per block. There's a block every second. This is a very fast blockchain. So let's go to November 2024, 77. And that means that it effectively halves the emission every year. I guess it's really like 11 months, but whatever, it's close enough. I've been mining Kaspa just like most other cryptocurrency miners recently, and I'll talk more about my experience here shortly. There's the windminer.com. I think this is a scam website. I'm not sure. I haven't gotten a clear answer on it. They list the K9 on here for 40 grand with the delivery of base or shipping data basically like right now. Their stat is slightly different than the other two listings here. Million Miner has also listed this miner. They list it for 11 terahash a second and have the 3,400 watt power consumption. So basically everyone's got a different number here, which is kind of confusing to put it simply. We have seen some pictures floating around. I haven't gotten one of these in person, but AOZ Miner posted this. And this seems to be a real picture of it, or at least it's a label, right, for whatever that's worth. It looks a little bit different. It doesn't look like the best design necessarily, but it's a functional one probably, right? It's only going to operate on 240 voltage or 220 volt plus, you know, so you need to make sure you have the electrical capabilities for this. That means you can't plug it into a normal wall outlet in the United States. It's going to be very simple deployment. You plug in an Ethernet cable, you plug in a power cable, and that's it. So much like any other ASIC miner, we have beginner guides on electricity and how to set up an ASIC miner if you're totally new to this stuff. This is the latest news on this miner. The network hash rate for Kaspa is at 53.5 petahash a second. You can see it's rapidly climbing. Back in April of 2023, this was under 1 petahash. Now it has become more than 53 times more difficult to mine the Kaspa coin, all while the amount of coins mined per block continue to reduce linearly month over month over month over month. So how have some of my miners been doing before we kind of bring it back to the Windminer? The breadwinner I have by far is the KS3M. I don't have all the Kaspa miners. I also have the KS1. So the KS3M has consistently been mining about 80 bucks a day for a couple weeks now. Absolute just cash cow behemoth. But this is a miner that when I received it was being sold at about 17 grand. You can already buy this miner for about $12,000 and it's continuing to decrease in price. It mines at 6,000 gigahash or basically 6 terahash on Kaspa at 3,400 watts. This Windminer K9 is literally twice as good as this miner. It has double the hash rate for the exact same electrical footprint and even relative sizing. So if these are sold for 24 grand or less, it's comparatively the better choice, assuming it's functional or any good or whatever. I've also been mining with the KS0 and the KS1. And so all of these are from Iceriver. So let's maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. The Iceriver, their manufacturer that really kind of popped out of nowhere. They hit the scene with their KS0, which they have since replaced with the KS0 Pro coming soon, which is basically supposed to be essentially the same thing, but with a better chip. This will maybe make like $1 a day, but they're probably going to price it around 500 bucks. So it'll be an interesting entry-level miner, especially if you're betting on the upside of Kaspa, right? Then came the KS1. It was like 10 KS0s, which used to do 100 gigahash, or basically it was the first terahash grade Kaspa ASIC miner to hit the scene. These are selling for well over $6,000 when I got mine. Then they've sold out, near 2,000. My KS1 still makes like 10, 14 bucks a day right now. But that's going to continue to decrease in daily mining profitability as the amount of Kaspa coins I'm mining just simply continue to go down as more and more miners come online, increase the network hash rate, which means that we're all trying to eat the same pie, which means we're going to end up eating less of it. There's the KS2, which kind of quickly came and went. There's the KS3, which was quickly replaced, which seemed to be, much more volume of the KS3M, right? I know it's a lot to kind of like, whoa, it's a lot to keep up with. Well, there's Bitmain. They make amp miners. They're a leading ASIC miner manufacturer. They have their own Kaspa miner, the KS3. So these are supposed to have been shipped and sold. I don't know too many people with these. It's been confusing kind of what's going on with these and how many are there and where are they going and their impact on the network. The whole situation is very convoluted, right? Is it Bitmain versus Iceriver? Did Iceriver just, is it an offshoot of Bitmain? Did they steal their chip design? Who the hell is the Windminer guy? I mean, it's just very convoluted. If they have a chip with this efficiency, it's very possible we're going to see a next generation of the KS3 from Bitmain and Iceriver hitting a similar efficiency soon. I don't know. Nobody really knows right now. I ask around and everyone's got some BS to say. Nobody really seems to know. It's confusing. This is rapidly developing, I guess. Would be a more professional way to say, we don't know what the hell is going on, but we're trying to figure it out, and we'll let you know when we do. So, that's that situation. Let me take you inside one of the Icerivers real quick. So I have noticed some of the weird issues mining with Iceriver miners. In particular, these Iceriver miners seem to, by the way, the name is admin, and then your default password is 1234567 no 9, just up to 8. These things seem to basically reboot daily sometimes, or they get kicked off from Nicehash basically daily. I don't quite understand. I haven't really spent too much time messing with it, but I noticed at about like the 24-hour mark, these miners were consistently failing over from Nicehash to F2 pool. The simplest way to get them back. That's weird. This one literally just reset itself 4 minutes ago. It's also not hashing. Now it's hashing, and it's also failed over onto 2 different pools. I don't know. We're just gonna go ahead and click restart. So why am I mining on Nicehash? Honestly, the largest reason is there's not a lot of exchange support for Kaspa. And being a US citizen, it leaves me with very limited options. Due to the high price of these miners right now and the rapidly decreasing rewards and the current Bitcoin price, I'm personally more interested in using these to stack Bitcoin. You can do whatever you want to do. I think it's largely more beneficial to mine the coin that these miners are designed for, hodl, support the network, do whatever you want to do and help grow that ecosystem and be, more of a contributor and less of a parasite on that ecosystem. But for me, mining so many different coins and only having so much time in the day, I basically pick and choose. There's a lot of variables and different equations and stuff we use internally, but basically the way it shakes down is that I'm using this to automatically, trade out and get paid out in Bitcoin. At the end of the day, I feel like I don't have enough Bitcoin. So working on fixing that. And there's a lot of different ways to go about this stuff strategy. We'll save that really discussion for another day. So we just restarted those miners. We'll see how quick it takes them to kind of fire up and appear here. But basically, that's the bottom line. That's what I'm doing. I've referenced the recent mining profitability. In particular, I think the KS0s will continue to go down and down and down. And if Kaspa doesn't continue to increase in price, the KS0 is going to be the first miner to probably become unprofitable, and especially just become very boring, where it's like, it earns like 50 cents a day and it costs like 50 cents a day or something to run. I think it's actually like $5 a month to run. So the equation is a little bit better than that. But that's that situation. You see just a kind of a note from earlier. My Iceriver KS0 and KS1 had failed over to F2 pool. And you can see that they were mining here. And we look at some of my revenue. You can see different days of different mining hash rate per day and kind of how many coins that equated to. So you can see that in particular the KS0 is 100 gigahash, which pulled about 27 Kaspa coins. 27 Kaspa coins means it basically made $1.35 a day at current prices. A few days ago we got 1.2 gigahash a second, and that pulled 352 Kaspa per day. That would be pretty close to having the KS0 as well as the KS1 on there. That was about 17. So we could probably take off, say, 50 of these coins. Basically, the KS1 was probably earning like $15 in mining profitability that day, or about 300 Kas coins. So people say, like, what miner should I get? Well, there's $35 million in Bitcoin emission in the last 24 hours, so that's pretty freaking cool and crazy. But there's major competition on Bitcoin mining. I mean, there's literally publicly traded Bitcoin mining farms, right? Like, that's the severity of how big these are. You contrast that with, say, Dogecoin mining, 1 million put out every day, script miners. But myself and everyone else thinks that we're going to see a new script miner very soon, so it's very risky to buy the old Bitmain Antminer L7s, which are the leading script miner. Then you start to go down the list and you see Kaspa with the next highest emission, and that's part of the reason why it's been so interesting, so exciting to get into the Kaspa ASIC mining game, because there's really just a lot of money at play here. These miners are very profitable. They're commanding a premium, but they really mine a lot of dollars, a lot of coins, Kaspa or Bitcoin per day compared to the electricity you're spending. This makes at-home mining so much more viable in smaller scale mining or mining farms with just simply higher electricity rates. Whereas when you look at Bitcoin, you gotta have a low electricity rate to really be competitive, to really have like a chance in the game. Otherwise, the only person that's getting rich in that equation is not you, maybe the miner manufacturer, but really it's the electric company. So it's really just going to be a numbers game. And if you want to believe in a new company that came out of nowhere that we've never heard of, I think the Windminer K9 is crazy risky. But the Iceriver was crazy risky. And they've been doing a pretty good job overall since randomly showing up out of nowhere. For me personally, the K9 is just not really, for me, the cost versus the risk. It's just not doing it for me. I would love to see them kind of hack that model down and make a higher efficiency but a lower chip count to essentially end up with a cheaper miner, right? Cut that thing in half, right? Sell it to me for half price, and it has half the power consumption, all that efficiency. I mean, that's a lot more viable for some maybe smaller and medium scale miners that aren't just going absolutely ridiculous and be like, yeah, I'm in, I'll buy one of those too. Maybe you will. But I mean, that's my 2 cents. As always, do whatever you want to do. I can say with absolute certainty that Kaspa mining has been very interesting. It's been rapidly developing. It's been exciting. There's a lot to talk about. It's a lot to keep up with. So hey, as always, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please make sure to subscribe to the VoskCoin YouTube channel, if for no other reason than for our CKO. That's going to be our Chief Kaspa Officer here. I'd love to know what Kaspa miners you're using, how many Kaspa coins you're pulling per day with them, or if you're, say, mining on Nicehash or something else like that, how many dollars per day / Bitcoin per day you are earning with that. I'll see you on the next one.